The United States of divorce. All right, so I want to start this video off with the video that kind of sparked me making this video. And I just want you to listen to how nonchalant the announcement comes across.
Cuffing season is off to a rocky start after three famous couples announced they're getting a divorce. After 14 years of marriage, Tia Mowry filed for a divorce from her husband, Corey Hardwick, due to irreconcilable differences. Tom Brady, my favorite quarterback, and Giselle both hired divorce attorneys after being separated for months. And nearly after 3 years of marriage, Miguel and his wife, Nazan.
So we have three marriages here, but the two that bother me the most are these two, and I'll get to this in a second. But before I get to this, I want you to listen to this TikTok, and I want you to kind of just get a feel for the kind of nonchalant attitude that there is, this prevailing attitude about divorce. Take a listen.
Divorce needs a rebrand because a lot of people associate with bad, but like it just splits up two people who should not be together. And I think that divorce parties should be a thing, because here's the thing. Let me pitch this.
I love it.
Okay,
yes.
So you know how we have wedding registries?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's not the past anymore. If you are having a wedding registry, you probably already have the things that you're registering for.
Yes.
You already have a crock pot, whatever. If you get divorced, you have to split the assets, so you actually do need something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it also would be cool for...
Okay, so far she's saying, like, you know, have a registry, celebrate kind of a lot like a wedding, right? So you're going to petition your friends to come and you know, donate to whatever. But listen to her advice. Just listen.
The children involved, if there are children, to send them money, so they have something that they can hold on to that is theirs. So when they're split between two homes, they have something that's theirs, and also you give people like a crock pot or a microwave, and it's just a way to show your support. And I think divorce parties should be a thing.
I'm 100%
Okay, you know what? Listen.
on board for this. I think this needs to be pitched nationwide.
I do too. I think...
Okay, so that's sad, but I'm going to get back to that in a second. The reason why these two marriages in particular, with Tia Mowry and with Tom Brady, the reason why these two marriages bother me, it's Tom Brady here. Hold on just a second. With Tom Brady here, right? Is that these two marriages involve small children. Tom Brady has a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old, if I'm not mistaken, and Tia Mowry and her husband, they have a 4-year-old and an 11-year-old. And so, like we heard it in the prior TikTok, the idea, oh, just give him some money and that'll make everything okay. I don't know if it's that simple. And so one of the things, we talk about passport bros here, and people say people are going overseas for tricking and stuff like that. But I hold it that there are some guys, some brothers who are more cerebral, and they're looking at the big picture, and they're finding other reasons to go abroad. But I will get to that later. I want to talk to the people that really paid a price for irreconcilable differences. It's one thing when you're breaking up a family and you're doing it because there's immediate danger or there is just an unhealthy environment. That's one thing, as in, you know, there's physical harm, you know, looming. But it's a different thing altogether when it's just, I'm bored or I'm unhappy or I want to be with someone that's going to excite me or something that's more than that immediate physical or emotional need, right? And so the reason I'm pointing to this is because who's going to suffer the brunt of this? Well, take a listen.
The hardest part that I remember was going through the fighting.
The hardest part of divorce is when they fight.
I wish that everything would be back to normal, no more fighting, and our dad coming home instead of getting a divorce.
I'm mad that Dad made Mom move out.
Instead of showing love to each other, they show animosity, and like they really don't like each other. And I don't think they try and hide it as much as they should.
Me and my brother, we had this staircase that leads right up to the living room.
Okay, so you're seeing who's paying the price for these divorces. You see that, right?
And we would just sit there and watch them from around corner when they were yelling at each other.
When my mom and my stepdad used to fight, I would take my sister into my room, or I would never try to get in between it and say, can you please leave? But I would take her and we would go in my room and we would talk and try to ignore them as much as possible. But when my birth mom and my birth dad would fight, I didn't have somebody to lean on and talk to.
Okay, so what we're seeing in a lot of these clips, not just that you're seeing kids are trying to find ways to adjust to the difficulties of being to the divorce, but there are actually times when they're trying to adjust to a new stepfather, a new stepmother, right? And so who's paying the price for these divorces? It's the kids. The kids pay the price. I have more. There's a lot of kids out. When you hear irreconcilable differences, what that says to me is, especially if the couple has children, is that those kids are going through stuff like this.
And she said that your dad and I are getting a divorce and we're moving tomorrow, so you need to pack up all your stuff today.
Think about what that does to kids.
I looked around and I was like, are you serious? You waited this whole time to like tell me that we were both gonna have to leave and like leave my dad, and it was, like I said before, heartbreaking.
It began to get to one of
Yeah. See, this again, you're seeing what it does to these kids, and you can see this document. This is an actual really fascinating documentary because it follows, I think, 6 or 7 kids through a series of questions, and they're kind of rehashing, the things that they dealt with, right? But there are a couple of moments in this document that really stood out to me. I want you to listen to these next couple kids. You see what the kind of toll these kids are taking when their parents make this decision. Take a listen.
They didn't tell me they got divorced until one day my daddy didn't come back from work, and that's when I got really worried, and my mom told me my dad's not going to be with us, and that's when they went to court with us. We went to court, and I was really sad. That day I was crying so loud. I sneaked in his car just to be with him, but they took me out, and I was really sad because he had to move to Venezuela, and we stayed here in the United States. It was really sad.
Okay, so now I don't know the circumstances of their divorce. Well, what I do know is that whatever happened, she is incredibly crushed. This girl is crushed by what happened, and it's not like some gifts at a party is going to fix that. You can tell that this girl she's not going to grow up with a father. This will break your heart, man. When you hear parents talking about, oh, well, the kids will get used to it, or it's better for them to be in a situation where, they can see their parents happy. Listen to these stories, man.
It's just, you have to understand from the kids' point of view, like how they would feel if you guys separated, if they're still used to you guys being together.
I miss all the happy days that I had with my family. I just wish that could all come back.
I just think the whole divorce in general, it really affected my schooling and my studying, because you would sit there and you wouldn't really look at your books. You would sit there and think about, are there any ways for me to make my parents happier, or are there any ways to almost like make things better again instead of like reading a book or studying.
So when you see, and it kind of points to this culture where the culture is really centered around what I want. And as an adult, that's different, right? When you're an adult and you say, I want to do what I want, this is celebrating it, right? When I do what I want, I'm happy. And the kids will just figure out what happens with the kids later, right? But what you're not considering is that these kids are, and if you watch the documentary, you can see like these kids are basically, one kid referred to it as like an atomic bomb going off in his family. Where one day you're thinking that everything is fine, and I'm going to go to school and have my two parents, and then another day something is going on and one parent is leaving the house and the other parent is there, and you're hearing stories, you're getting marched in and out of court. And this idea that the family exists on the whim of my emotional happiness, when the children in a position where their emotional happiness is almost an afterthought. These, as you're seeing in these parties, these children can't walk into the middle of the party and say, I'm sad that you're divorcing my father, or I don't want you to celebrate this. Instead, it's all about what the parent feels is most important, what's going to make them happy, what they want. And so we kind of see this culture evolving basically into a culture where if I'm unhappy today, my family is at stake. If I'm not feeling right today, I might blow up my family. If I'm not getting the best sex, the emotional highs, the whatever, kids are going to have to get used to getting shuttled in between two houses so that I can enjoy the rest of my life, right? And so I want to take this back to where I started it, with seeing this divorce here in particular. And the reason why this one bothers me so much is because there is a 4-year-old involved in this divorce. A 4-year-old. That 4-year-old did not ask to be here. If you're going to make a divorce for irreconcilable differences, just don't have kids. Don't have kids. But this whole culture of, I'm unhappy now, so I'm going to leave you and we're going to file divorce and just deal with it. Look, if our society is going to be about the happiness of adults, okay, fine. Maybe we just need to stop having kids. But if we're going to try and build something, and this is where a lot of passport bros get to this point where I'm going somewhere else, because look, if I want to build a family, I have to do it in an environment that actually celebrates family. It frowns on divorce. And I guess as we see these Western ways kind of propagate through the world, and we kind of see, divorce become more mainstream in some of the more Western countries, we're seeing more guys, especially men, who really value family. If you really value family, you have to go somewhere where, hey, if things get a little bit rough, you know what? We're gonna fight our way through it. We're gonna find a way to stick together, at least for the kids, if not just so we can get to the rough patch. Instead, we're seeing an evolving environment where basically, if I'm unhappy or something is not right, I'll just blow it up, because my happiness is more important, it's paramount than to everything else involved. And so you see the 4 and 11-year-old here, or in this case, you see a 9 and a 12-year-old here, and they're going to have to find out how to navigate the rest of their lives while the people around them are having divorce parties. They're celebrating it, right? And you walk in, and this is one of the lowest days of your life, and you're seeing the world kind of celebrate. That's enough of that. Enough of that. You're seeing the world celebrate the demise of your family, and that's exactly what it is. So guys, I'm going to talk to my passport bros, because that's what my channel's for. For you guys out there that you're saying, you know what, maybe I want to go somewhere where marriage is more celebrated, where I have a better chance of keeping my family intact. I 100% feel you on that. Hey man, you go where you got to go so you can build a family, so you can have some legacy, and you don't have to worry about one day coming in and your partner saying, you know what, I'm going to blow this all up. Oh, you got to pay me for it. I feel sorry for the kids. It's going to be a really tough generation for the generations to come, because the nuclear family in my home country of America, it is going to become a relic, and it's super sad. With that, guys, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Please like, subscribe. Feel free to comment on the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.